Does this sound like you? You bought into that IPO they told you was a good investment, and now you're down 20, 30, maybe even 40%. You try to buy the stocks they talk about in groups or on social media.
You've even taken a chance on the ones your advisor sends you via email.
But after 2 years, that IPO, that stock is still down.
There's a clear difference between investing and making a good investment decision. So if you're stuck, what you need to do is learn how to invest the right way.
In our Learn Level 2 program, we teach you how to build a $1 million investment portfolio. To make money investing, you need to know which stocks are right for your investment strategy, know when is the right time to buy and sell, and know how to build the right portfolio for your investment style. This program will help you invest meaningfully while making money. When you sign up, you'll get monthly guidance on how to invest and make money while doing it. You'll have a community of investors on the same journey as you to support you, and you'll have resources to help you stay on track. Join our 2026 cohort so you can get back on track with your financial goals.
Hope everybody is doing well. Give me a second. I'm going to do something that I didn't do before the stream started, which is connect my microphone. So hopefully you're able to hear me, but in a few moments you'll hear me better. Hey, Shells, how you doing? Let me do this here. All right, let me know if you can still hear me. You should still able to hear me, but you should hear me better. Okay, Terrence, I see you. You say you're hearing me well. That's awesome. All right, cool. So this is going to be so slight tweak to the name of this video, right? So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do something that a few of you have been asking me to do for a long time. Now, you have specific stocks that you either have in your portfolio. You've been asking me, Jermaine, what are your thoughts on X or Y stock? So for those of you in the chat, I have 30 to 45 minutes to go through this video. I want you to share in the chat the stocks that you want me to review, and I'll choose the ones that persons are kind of stating the most, and I'll go through them. Right. There are a few things I want to say about the earnings season in general, but we're not really doing stocks to watch in the way that we normally do anyway. So that's why I said I need to kind of update the title for this video, because I don't want anybody to say, they clicked it for one thing and it's saying another. So those of you who are here, let me know the stocks that you want me to review. Elmo, I'm not going to review TJH. I think I've done enough TJH videos. Probably for the entire year. I see Fesco, so I'll definitely go through Fesco as well. I see Atlantic. Atlantic is interesting for sure. I'll go through Atlantic, Kingston Wharves. So if somebody has listed a stock before and you want me to review it, state it still, because the names that I see the most are the stocks that I'm going to go through first. All right. So let me get my screen ready here. And I think everybody's hearing me. I see Omni, I see Cygnus. All right, cool. So let's start with Fesco. We start there. All right, so we're up with Fesco first. So let me do this as well. Stock review number 1. Fesco. All right, let me do that. So that those who join will know what I'm going through. All right. So, and let me see on IG. So I see you, Jahim, that says Atlantic. I see KW, I see Dollar Financial, I see Fontana, Fesco, Carreras, KW, Carreras, Wigton, VM, Grace Kennedy, etc. So thank you for all of those. Apologies, Shans and KD Wolf. I'm not going to be able to review Carreras, unfortunately, but I see the other names and I'll go through as much as I can. All right. All right, cool. Everybody, thank you for sharing the feedback. And I keep putting them in the chat. I'm going to go through as much as I can. All right. So for those of you who are not aware, we are in a season that's now called earnings season. Earnings season, if you're brand new to investing, is that period where earnings reports come out, right? So a few of them have already started to come out. A few of them are still due. Up until the 14th, we're going to see a lot of reports coming out, right? So for some of these companies, we won't have the reports yet. For some of them, we will. What I'll do is talk about, the stock itself, what we see for the last report, and what I would be looking for if the report has not come out, or what I like from what I'm seeing from the current report. And then hopefully that can help you in terms of your research process. All right. Jovan, I will not read your comment, sir. I will not read your comment. All right. So that's how we start with Fesco. So Fesco, one of my favorite companies on the market, actually. Really like their branding, really like how they've been building out their business, really like Jeremy Barnes in terms of the leadership and how they do things. So great work, Fesco and team. Now we've seen them go to a high of $4.80 for the last 12 months. So that's great work for them. Now, one of the things that I noticed as well is that they had this peak earlier in the year. So some of you might remember this, where they went up to a high of 480. That was back in March. That was around the time that we saw, all oil prices rising. And so that could have been a trigger for it for sure. And then we saw that correct after a few days down to its low of maybe 316 after there. And then we saw it kind of recover where it's, kind of around the 360 mark now. All right. So let me see in terms of earnings for the last 4 quarters, we're seeing 139 million, 205 million, 242 million, and 78 million. So I think a total of like 765 million, if I'm not mistaken. They have not paid a dividend this year as yet, but I do expect them to declare one. It would make sense for them to. Didn't they consider dividend? Yes, they did a dividend recommendation here. So let's look at that. It has resolved a dividend declaration for the year. We recommend. Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. So I thought that was a declaration. So I guess you'll hear that after the AGM. And let's look at. We're not gonna do the audited numbers. Let's do the quarterly, right? So 4th quarter, and okay, so that's the last numbers. Let's look at the 4th quarter numbers. That would work. And then of course keep putting your stocks in the chat. I'll go through as many as I can. All right. So this is Q4 for Fesco that we're going through. And let's see what we're working with here. All right. Okay. So we have here. So this is Fesco's Q4 numbers. We have here. Let me remove that comment. So we have for the Q, I think overall 8 billion in terms of sales. That turnover is representing sales. And so that's what it did for the 4th quarter. Cost of sales would have been 7.6 billion for the quarter, 30 billion overall for the year, an increase of 2 billion for the same time. Now they did 32 billion overall in revenues for the year and 30 billion last year. So there's growth, but not that's about 8.4%. I was going to say less than 10%. Typically, I like to see growth stocks grow a little bit more than that. but of course we'll see what the net profit looks like, because maybe, of course, depending on like expenses, finance costs, etc., we may be able to eke out more profits. But certainly I like to see top line growing as well. So 8%, all things considered, is not bad, especially with like Melissa, maybe other challenges, etc. And I mean, 2 billion is still it's still significant overall, right? Our gross profit stood at 553 million for the quarter and 2.14 billion for the year. Other income, that's 4 million and 24 million for the year. Admin expenses now, they rose over the quarter, so 336 million versus 255. And then, of course, those went up as well. So that would have been, of course, an impact in terms of their operating profit. But when we look at that number for the year, they had 927 million overall operating profit. So a 40% increase. That is significant for sure. So even though top line only grew 8.4%, they've been able to reduce overall expenses and, be able to see a lot more in terms of, no, not necessarily reduce expenses, but because even though like admin expenses grew, the other income, etc., the gross profit, etc., they're able to see more operating profit, which would have led to the profit before tax of 764 million, which is significant, 65% growth. That's not a small thing, right? So significant growth for the year for Fesco. Actually think that the stock should be doing better than it's currently doing, in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing here. So I think after this we saw them paying off their bond early because they had more than enough cash to do it. So we'll see what the next report looks like, but they've certainly set themselves up to continue to do well. And so Fesco is solid. So what I'm seeing so far, 765 million in the year. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, so I would go through the rest of the report if I'm a shareholder. I'm not. So you guys have shares, you go through. But P&L looks good. Stock price certainly seem like it's not trading, as it should. So there may be some opportunity there. But significant profit. Let's see what the dividend is declared to be, because there could be some opportunities there to pay maybe an increase on that dividend. Let me see the dividend that they normally pay. I remember, calculating the yield and the yield being low to me. I remember when Jeremy joined us in level 2. For those of you in level 2, remember Jeremy joined us, I think back in June. Yeah. Sorry, those who are seeing the ads from my side, they're turned off. I've turned off live ads. I don't know why you're seeing live ads. You shouldn't be. I don't know if that's a setting on YouTube that would need to be changed, but let me see if I can do a quick check here. Let me see if I can do that. I'm going to turn it off. I don't know if it will still impact anything, but I've turned it off. Sorry. Hopefully that helps, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Fesco looks good to me, guys. It looks good. Fesco looks good. All right, let me see what's next. It's not too early for Woodcats, but I'd love to see their other report first. Not too early, but you'd want to see one more report. The first one was not impressive for me. So I would say wait for one more before to review. Ooh, that I'm going through. You guys have a lot of stocks in your portfolio. Yeah, that's all I can say. Let me see. I see One Great Studio. Let me see how much it's there. Atlantic is interesting to me. Let me look at Atlantic. Right. second here. And I'm not being biased, guys. So please, I can just hear somebody saying that, I'm being biased and only picking the stocks that I want. I'm going based off the chat, right? So Atlantic is next up. Atlantic is very interesting to me, right? I think this is a very, very interesting story of why it's important to take profit from stocks. Because Atlantic was 224 this year, and then now they're currently trading at $1.08, right? Did their report come out recently? Jamaica Politics said that they didn't like the reports. When were the last results? The last results I'm seeing here are audited for the year, not Q2. So I'd be waiting for Q2 is what I'd be looking for, right? So I'll look at the Q1 here, because I think the Q1 results were good to me, certainly, when I looked at them. So for Q1, we saw where revenue grew to 687 million, up from 459. So gross profit increased to 204 million. Selling, general, administrative expenses almost doubled. I mean, I don't know if that's I don't know where exactly that would have added up. I didn't check the report to see if that was in the notes, but that's like almost 100% increase. That's crazy. Finance costs would have gone down. They would have paid down some of the debt from IPO, etc. And so the end of the year, certainly their EPS grew by 200%, right? 3 cents earnings per share versus 1 cent the year before. So that report was good. So Jamaica Politics, I don't know which one you're referring to, but this report was good to me. Certainly they're valued a lot more than their stock is currently trading. And so that's interesting to see, right? Now, they were suspended earlier in the year, I think, for their report being due. I believe so, right? There was a delay. Their stock was suspended, and there are some rumors or talks about they might have lost their tax exemption, because junior market companies get a tax exemption for the first 5 years, and then 50% for the next 5 years, and then they lose it at year 10. So there's that. But Atlantic certainly feels to me like an undervalued stock, like it should be trading more than where it is right now. So I think there are opportunities. Yes, Jamaica Politics, you're looking at the Q2 numbers aren't out yet. So what you looked at was the audited numbers for 2025, which, so remember, you have Q1 to 4, you have audited numbers, you have annual report, and then you have the current year. So their Q2 is what? Now, sometimes you may have, like, some companies don't do a Q4 and just release it included in the audited and so on, but their Q2 is not out yet, because I think that report, should be good, right? Certainly based on where they're headed for the year. So no, they have not been listed for 10 years. They IPO'd last year, Shells. They IPO'd last year, and then the stock price went up early this year up to $2.26. So it went from 83 cents before the hurricane to $2.26. And then for the last few months, it's been kind of going down. It went down to 146, went back up, and then it found its way down again. So that's something interesting to see. Maybe some opportunity there, I believe, as well, right? I believe if you're suspended, you may lose it. I think that's my understanding of how it works. But of course, I defer to David Rose for these kind of things. So yeah. So I'll say, I think the next report will tell us a lot. Maybe they'll comment on it. I think their AGM is also coming up. This is their AGM advisory. So let me see when their AGM is coming up. Annual general meeting will be September 30th at 10 a.m. So if you're a shareholder and you're in Kingston, you should make this AGM. I'm gonna try and make it, even though I'm not a shareholder. I'd be interested to speak to them, and say hear about the tax benefit, etc. All right. Okay. All right. So that's it for Atlantic. I love what I'm seeing in terms of the Q1 results. Q2 should be good as well. The stock appears to be undervalued to me based on how it's trading, and so that looks good from what I'm seeing so far. Right. Are those earnings back by cash from operations? You're talking for Atlantic, I assume. I don't think I'm understanding your question. Are those earnings back by cash from operations? Are you asking if those earnings are reflecting in the cash flow from operations? Let me know if I'm understanding you correctly. So cash flow from operations, let me look at it here. So profit before tax, depreciation, interest expense, accounts payable, inventory. Okay. Interesting. I see what you're saying. So this is their cash flow. Thank you for that, sir. Or, well, John, yes, sir. So their cash flow from operations actually are here saying 16 million versus 92 million for the year before. So that certainly is interesting to see. This seems to be the inventory adjustment and the accounts receivable. The accounts receivable you kind of expect to get in, so that should help with cash. And then that would be inventory as well. So let's see what Q2 looks like, right? But excellent points about the cash flow from operations. And then of course they would have made investments in property, plant, and equipment. Well, it says investments net here, and then cash flow from financing as well. So there's that for Atlantic. So it would be interesting to see. I think Q1 was also high because of Melissa. I don't agree. I think partially so, but I think they should have overall upside still and continue to grow. So I'm still expecting growth for Q2. We'll know in a few days. All right. Gel say in that case, all the junior market companies would lose their tax-free benefit. You are correct, but not all of them have been suspended. But I get your point. All right. Do you have any idea as to why the overall market isn't performing other from the big companies on the stock exchange? I mean, we are coming from a pandemic, a couple of hurricanes, one very devastating hurricane. The economy is not performing well. If the economy is not performing well, the stock market is not going to be performing well. The two are related. All right. That's my thought. LGI, do a stock you've never done before. Ari Williams, that's not true, Shells. We've covered them before. That means you don't watch all of our videos. We've covered them before, Shells. Let me see. I don't see the Jamaica rebuild stocks performing any better than last year. Maybe not at this point. Carib Cement is still kind of where it was last year. Interestingly enough, Atlantic is back to just being about 20% up from pre Melissa. Phosphate certainly not up. What else was there? What were all my rebuild stocks? I do not remember. But yeah, good point, Shells. Good point. I think so, Jaheem. I don't think they've lost it. I think that's speculation. I don't think they've lost it. Right? Jamaica Politics say Omni is one to watch. I know somebody in level 3 right now who is watching it alongside you, Jamaica Politics. They're very bullish on Omni. So we'll see. If that's true, Eddie Focal and Kintyre will be in trouble. No comment to that. The pandemic was 6 years ago, Shells. It has an impact on the economy. That's the point I'm making there. Jamaica is a competitive place, especially when you don't have a monopoly in your sector. Interesting point. Interesting point. All right, guys. So for those of you who just joined, I am reviewing stocks. Post a stock that you want me to review in the comment. If I see that stock a few times, at least 3 times, 4 times, etc., I will review it live on stream, share my initial thoughts. This is not a deep dive by any stretch. So I'm just going to go through the ones I see. Kingston Wharves, a company that I have a great amount of respect for. I'm going to tell you from now, I'm going to be biased towards Kingston Wharves because I think that Kingston, if you watch the video that I did about some stocks that I believe are going to be the next Trans Jamaica, Kingston Wharves was one of them. So I'm telling you from now, Nicola, I am biased. I really, really like Kingston Wharves. Really like them. And I'll do R.A. Williams next since everybody's asking me to do R.A. Williams. If the theory is that the stock market isn't performing well, that means there's a ton of opportunities available. Well, it's not a theory. The overall market, the JSE has been in negative growth for the past few years. So now there are stocks that have done well this year. There are stocks that will end the year well, I believe, but the overall market is still down. All right. No, that stock that somebody just put in the chat, that's not happening. That's not happening. It's me, Jermaine. John, I know who you are, sir. See you in the chat all the time. We have to look more in depth into the quality of the earnings of Atlantic. Working capital intensity might be the culprit. Okay, I see you. JMMB, it's like the only banking stock that gets attention is NCB. When is the Trans Jamaica report? Trans Jamaica report is coming out this week. Also, my interview with Ivan, for those of you who missed my post. If you have questions for Ivan Anderson, TJH's CEO, post them in our community or on X or on any community post that we have. Hopefully I see it. If you're still on Telegram, you can post it over there. But we have a thread for you to post the questions for Ivan on. The interview with Ivan is this week. I cannot tell you when it is because it's scheduled to come out after the report. And I don't want to hear that, I told you guys when the report was coming out. You'll see it when it comes out. All right. I'm too impatient to deal with the JSE. I can't with this buy and hold for years and the stock double. That's ridiculous. Shells, I think you're being unreasonable. I have stocks in the US market. I had Microsoft stock for a while. It took me years for it to double. It's the pandemic that caused my Microsoft stock to grow. So that happens in the US markets too. Don't be unfair to the JSE. No, Abina, no. I agree. In terms of KW being a monopoly as an entry point, no, I don't think it's a monopoly. Is it? Actually, I think they would post higher than, actually think 15 or 16. That's my expectation. But yeah, I'm not reviewing Trans Jamaica, guys. You guys talk about Trans Jamaica way too much. You guys need to have some diversification to your portfolios, man. I saw somebody do a post that says Trans Jamaica is making a lot of investors, feel like they're pros. And I couldn't help but laughing. Yeah. All right. So Kingston Wharves, let's talk about them. So Kingston Wharves, really like the company overall. I think they're going to be in a good spot in a couple of years. I'm a fan of the leadership. I'm a fan of their expanding their infrastructure. I'm a fan of the investments in innovation and the expansion of the berths. I'm a fan of the acquisition in cargo handlers. And I think that is one of those stocks. I love infrastructure companies. If I could have a portfolio of all infrastructure stocks, So yeah. All right. So let's start here. Let's look at their last report. Well, let's look at the trading first. Started the year at 36, now at 33. So no growth for the year. It's down 2% for the year. As high as 39 in the last 52 weeks, as low as 28. And then, of course, dividend declared earlier this year and paid 26 cents. They announced 2 dividends last year, so we'll see if they do one later on this year. I believe there was a massive trade in shares last week and the stock price went down to $28, I believe. A connected party sold 215,000 shares. Then you have a next one that says a connected party sold 505,000 KW shares. Then a connected party sold 6 million KW shares. And then we see a connected party sold 9.9 million shares. Right, so that's quite a bit of selling in the last couple of weeks. Those selling typically doesn't bode well for the share price, so that's why you see it barely recovering at this point. So there's that. Let me look at those results for Q1, and maybe we can see as well who was doing that selling. All right, let's see if we can figure it out here. 9 million units does not make the top 10. So this is a top 10 holding. So we'll see who was selling in the next report. But I have my thoughts or my theories as to some of the activities that we've been seeing there. But that's your top 10. Let's go to the P&L. So revenues grew from 2.8 billion to 3.3. Love to see that. Cost of sales up as well. Gross profit about 100 million more. That's not really what you want to see, but that's just for the 3 months. Usually there is, it's Q1, so it's only 3 months that we have to see here. Operating profit is down from 962 million to 873, and profit before tax down, so net profit is down as well. EPS down to $41 from 53, and so there is that, right? So certainly that's probably why we haven't really seen growth in the company, because based on how Q1 looks, and of course investors maybe repositioning based on that. I'm more bullish on KW long term. Maybe I didn't go through the outlook for this. Let's see what they said in the outlook here. All right, the outlook for the group remains positive, although global conditions have been more uncertain. Geopolitical tensions in the Middle East have placed upward pressure on fuel prices and added risk to key shipping routes. These developments may affect carrier schedules and costs, as well as timing of cargo flows. So they're explaining kind of what happened for them and their outlook. The uncertainty reinforces the importance of being a reliable regional port and logistics provider. Their focus remains on maintaining service reliability, supporting customers through changing market conditions, and ensuring that the business remains well positioned to respond to the shifts in global and regional trade. Critical to our program to maintain and enhance service reliability is their plan to expand the yard space available to us for logistics services. I'm just scanning through here. The terminal operations business is expected to continue benefiting from its diversified cargo base, including motor vehicles, bulk, break bulk, containers, and project cargo. Not really what I'm hoping to see here. I like when there's more meat in the outlook. That doesn't really tell me what I want to hear. But I would say KW long term, and then we go from there. All right. All right, cool. All right, so let me see what else. I'm gonna take a pic from IG, because you guys on YouTube don't even like the video. And so Almando is asking about Phosrich. Wisinco, Lasem, Carib Cement, One Great Studio. Okay, yeah. So One Great Studio actually, I think posted their AGM. Oh yeah. Okay, you are right. I did say what Ari Williams was next. Shells, why are you doing this to me? All right, hold on. Okay, Ari Williams. So Ari Williams is here. So Ari Williams is, wow, it went as low as 30 cents, is at all-time low, as low as 25 cents in the last 52 weeks, as high as 48 cents. Currently trading at 39 cents, up 16% quarter to date, right? But I like to compare stocks to their IPO prices. IPO price was $1 for RA Williams. And so this is still down 60% from IPO. And what that tells me, right? So as a growth stock, if you don't grow, then your stock is going to face some headwinds. And so of course, without even looking at the numbers, we can see they've had some troublesome quarters. $26 million loss for Q2 here, $1.9 million loss for Q1. And last year they had a $16 million loss, $3 million loss, and a $28 million loss in 2024. So those things don't bode well for growth stocks. So that might be what would have, impacted their growth. So let me see their Q3. This is audited numbers for the year. Year ended. Okay, so their financial year ends April 30th. So let me do this. Yeah, you guys over YouTube, you guys don't treat me well. You guys don't like my videos. You guys, don't leave any comments if you watch the replay. You guys are being very mean to me. Very mean, right? So please take a minute, like the video if you can. That helps us, that helps our channel. If you are new to investing, we have a level 1 free course that can help you learn how to invest. If you've been here for a while, you've gotten value from this channel, share this channel with a friend or a family member. What is this, Shells? Went. Why is he hiding from interviews talking about Ari Williams, CEO? You're talking about Audley. I can't say why a CEO chooses not to do interviews. I don't believe I've ever asked him. I can ask, but I mean, it's CEO. Okay, I'm like, weren't. Okay, like I was like, huh? Well, I mean, I did reach out. I usually reach out to CEOs whenever they IPO. We offer our services as LGI. We offer access to come on our platform, to engage with our community, etc. That's usually what I do with every CEO that comes to the market. Now, I did reach out to them, I believe. I don't remember what the conversation was. It was a few years ago. And yeah, that's it really. So I wouldn't use the word friends. I don't think we've worked together. We have no issues with each other, but friends, not everybody would interpret that in the same way. Let me see here. I'm looking at the Q numbers. Okay, so I have 20 minutes left. I'm going to see if I can cover at least 3 stocks, right? I'm going to go to revenues first. This is for the audited numbers for 2026. So there's growth in revenues from year before. That's good to see. That's good to see. Cost of sales up. That's normal. Gross profit 44 million more. That doesn't bode well for net profit. So let's see net profit. Yep. So usually when the gross profit margin is so meager, like 44 million above in growth, admin expenses are likely to go up. Selling and distribution costs went up by 62 million. You're gonna be lower in profits, right? So expenses were more. So operating profit was 30 million less, right? So I mean, so for R.A. Williams, I think they have to figure out their margins. It would look like, so they're not able to. So they grew revenues by 300 million, but ultimately their gross profit only came out to $44 million more. So 300 million top line, but gross profit only got out 44 million out of that 300 million growth. So their margins need to be better. Admin expenses need to be managed. So selling and distribution costs keep rising on them. $63 million more. That could be fuel costs. I don't know. And then, I mean, they do have finance costs as well, 71 million. So that's also affecting net profits. So getting their debt down may be a good idea. Let me see their long-term loans. Okay, this is in lease liability, 259 million, deferred tax liability, long-term loans, short-term loans, current portion of long-term loans, trade and other payables, $415 million. Right, that's significant. They need to manage their liabilities overall. But to me, this is a margin issue. This is a customer development issue. This is a market share issue. So this business would need to turn around for profits to be meaningful. But again, they're in a category of growth stocks and they're not growing, right? So that's kind of my basic measurement or requirement for a junior market company. A junior market company should grow, right? So that's my take on it. All right, guys, 143 people here. Can you take a minute and like the video? I would appreciate it. I'm taking stocks, so persons in the chat, share your stocks with me. I'll review the ones that Shells tell me that I should review, because Shells will not be happy unless I review the stocks that she wants me to review. And she can't really bother with the JSC, so I don't know what will make Shells happy, right? JFP. Let me see if there is any requests for JFP. I see JetCon in the chat. I really like JetCon. I'm happy for them. I'm not interested in that sector, guys. I don't know. I can't bring myself to be bullish on that sector. I don't know. I'll have to sleep on that. Yes, KP adjusted KW. Like the company long term, but in the short term, they definitely seem like they're gonna have some challenges. And there was a major sell down of shares. About over 10 million shares were sold recently. That would have brought down the price, and so that's Kingston Wharfs. All right. Oh boy, I'm not going to talk about TJH. Interesting about Carib Cement. Can't talk about them right now. Okay, I have seen Mailpack a fair amount of times. All right. You guys are cracking me up in the chat, you know. Please. But yeah, I was talking about JetCon. So here's the thing. I'm really happy for them. I think JetCon has been able to turn around their business. I think they've grown significantly. I think they certainly deserve the growth, 138% for the year. Happy for them. I don't know if this is a stock that can sustain it past the year, but that's just my initial thoughts, right? So I want to do a full review on JetCon. I want to give it the proper analysis, right? Because I have not fully looked at. I remember back then when they used to do used cars, I was like, nope. But now they're doing new cars. The model is different. I want to kind of get acclimated to that. So I'll give that its own video, its own review, and then I'll do that for JetCon. But I can't wrap my mind around a business selling cars because they're so like, it's just like I think at some point growth may slow. I think at some point margins may be an issue. And so I certainly think the growth in the stock price is justified based on the reports that I saw. So I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you here, right? So I can't deny the growth. Stock price growth is there. The numbers show growth. Definitely kudos to them. It is just for me. I don't know, right? So, but I'll do a full review of the company. We'll give that its own dedicated video. So for those who want me to review JetCon, I'll do that and I'll share my honest thoughts at that point. Jermaine wanted to do the boot camp. Want to be able to do so this weekend. When is the next edition? There's only the old edition. there's only this one this Saturday. I don't know when the other one would be. So if you're interested in it, the weekend is the one to do it. This weekend is the time to do it. I do have. We launched. Well, no. I'm talking about something else. With stock. Mail pack. You guys are always distracting me. Fan. I was like, fan? Like which stock is that? All right, Omega. I can't review Sagicor. I don't want HR to call me. I work at Sagicor. Okay. I don't want HR to call me. And say that I said something or anything that I can't. I want to be completely unfiltered when I'm talking, and I don't want HR to call me. So I'm not going to review Sagicor at this time. Maybe I'll review them at a later point, but not right now. If that's okay with you. I'm not seeing any likes on the video. I'm seeing like 5 likes. All right. Jamaica politics. I see your game plan, you know. But I do like Image Plus. I was expecting Image Plus to see a turnaround somewhat this year. I said that last year. And there we go, right? So let's look at Mailpack. You guys seem to know what's in my portfolio, you know. You guys seem to know that. So I think you guys are seeing my portfolio. Maybe you work at the JCSD. So you guys seem to know a lot more about my portfolio than I do. All right. I think JetCon can pay a dividend. Why wouldn't they? Right, 60 million per quarter. If they do that, 240 million, based on current stock price, 30-cent dividend, that would be good. Especially since they have not as many shares outstanding. That would be a nice dividend for sure. If they announced a dividend, that stock price would certainly see more growth for sure. Mailpack. All right. Mailpack is interesting to me. I thought they would be doing better now, like from the MyCart Express acquisition last year or year before. I think it's 2024. It's interesting. I think I'd be curious to know what's happening. 194 to 290 in the last 54 weeks. Only 5% growth year to date. So I think there's something there that I can't really put my finger on, but it's interesting to see because I actually expected Is that for me, GPRS? I don't think that question is for me. All right, let's look here at Mailpack Outlook. So it says here, one back. Okay. The board remains confident in Mailpack's outlook for 2026. Consumer demand for convenient logistics solutions continues to grow, and the company is well positioned to continue to meet and evolve with its customers. The team remains focused on expanding our service capabilities and delivering sustainable value to stakeholders. We believe these strategic priorities, supported by the company's strong financial position Mailpack to continue to strengthen its leadership. I think an outlook should share an outlook, right? So this doesn't really tell us the outlook. I mean, so let me move on. So revenues grew for the 3 months, up from 716 to 790. Gross profit increased 388 to 447. Operating profit increased just by 19 million though, right? Not much. Let's see here. Finance costs and policy costs, 63 million increase from last year. So therefore, net profit, this is 4 million increase, right? I see an asterisk there. Is that a restatement or something? Yeah, restated. Okay. But I mean, I think for them, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be doing issuing some shares based on the MyCart Express acquisition. I don't know if that has taken place yet, but that is one of the things I heard about as well. So Mailpack, for me, my concern is maybe so I really liked the acquisition of MyCart Express. I thought that would give them some growth in terms of ownership, but of course, the shipping space has a lot of competition, right? So it's interesting to see that. I mean, I thought the growth would have been more, right? At this point, I'll have to go back and do like a deep dive as to where they were a couple of years ago. I'm sure they have grown since the acquisition, but profitability is maybe not growing the way that they expected. Now, I do expect they're maybe like investing in infrastructure, maybe working out systems and things like that. But yeah, I'm just, guys, for me, it's simple, right? Junior market company, small companies, small stocks, priorities, growth. I'm not a fan of companies that are small, paying a dividends. You generate cash, continue to grow, take up market share. Then when you get to a certain point where you can pay a significant dividend or something meaningful that will move the needle, you do that. So growth is important, right? So I think Mailpack, I mean, it's still a company that I wouldn't give up on because, of course, I believe in Kari's leadership, in Kari's ability to grow the business, in Kari's ability to maybe grow inorganically and stuff like that. Because I mean, we've just seen that in terms of his track record as a leader. So that's what I have to say. Mailpack. I have time for one more stock. All right. Outlook is not giving. Shans, did I not cover any of your stock? Shans from IG, tell me which stock you want me to review. Did I miss your messages? Okay. Oh yeah, you've mentioned KP REIT a few times. Is KP REIT the one you want me to go through? Shans, let me know from IG if KP REIT is the one you want me to go through. All right, question, Jermaine. Do you think what do you think drove Jamaica to want to have the best stock market globally Will we ever go back there? Technology really makes it easier for more people to buy stocks. No. Will we ever get back there? It's possible, but the right conditions would have to be there. I don't think we adopt technology enough as a country. I think that we need more innovation for the stock exchange. I think that we need mobile apps to be able to trade. We need real-time trading. We need more data, more analytics on the market. We need more sophistication in the market. We need more liquidity in the market. We need more investors in the market. We need more. There are $94 billion $55 billion in savings accounts. We need that money in the market. And so it's possible. No, Tabar, it's not just like a JSE app. I'm talking like I want to have a native, like mobile first app that I can, for example, connect all my brokerage accounts, and I can maybe even transfer money from one broker to the next. I can maybe get margin, through the app, apply for it, place my orders, get, analysis tools in the mobile app. That's what I mean by, innovation in the space where that's concerned. There's a question that you asked. Do you think one day that you'd offer a unit trust based on all your knowledge? I'm sure people will be lining up to give you money to invest. Well, I am going to be a financial advisor very soon. I do hope to have a lot of clients. So as it relates to a unit trust, I don't know about that one. I don't think you're assessing me the right way. All right. This one is for Shans on IG. Let's look at KP REIT. And that'll be our last one. All right. So KP REIT up 44 cents or 4%. Started the year at $9, is now at $11. So that's some growth for them. Kudos to the team. 17% growth, 12% for this week alone. 7.83 up to $16. Wow, $16. That's interesting. Went there earlier this year. I wonder what happened. Interesting. And their earnings are typically in US dollars. I'm gonna assume this is US dollars, right? I'm not gonna assume this is Jamaican. They've announced a dividend earlier in the year. So the dividends in USD. So I think the numbers are in US Q1 numbers. Let's see here. I'm going straight to let me read the outlook. All right. So the global real estate market continues to operate against a mixed macroeconomic backdrop. I'm going to skip through that. In the United Kingdom, management continues to say attractive acquisition opportunities in assets where pricing dislocation has created yields above their cost of capital. The group remains focused on high-yielding commercial assets with strong cash-on-cash returns, tenant durability, and potential for long-term capital appreciation. All right, so this is a detailed outlook. This is what I like to see. All right, portfolio enhancement, UK market expansion, development projects, capital efficiency and earnings growth, and platform growth and shareholder returns. All right, cool. All right, so wow, that's some good growth for Q1. I believe maybe this is why the numbers went up to $16. I'm just gonna go straight down. Okay, so rental income increased. Operating expenses would have increased by 20,000 US. So operating profit, worked out to be flat though. All right, so other income was not there. It was there last year. And miscellaneous income expenses. So operating profit 1.2 million US versus 1.28 last year. finance cost is there, would have been 60,000 more. So net finance cost, profit before tax would have been down from the 895 last year. And so EPS would have gone down, but interesting growth in revenues. I would have loved to talk to them to see what happened there in terms of why that didn't translate to the bottom line. So that'd be interesting. So KP REIT is an interesting company. I think they continue to focus on growth, paying consistent income to shareholders, etc. We've worked with them in the past. I'd love to understand why, with such a growth in that's 500,000 US almost in growth in rental income, why that didn't translate to the bottom line. I'd love to hear more about that. Maybe I'll reach out to Kevin and ask him, but that's KP REIT. That's my thoughts on all the companies that I reviewed. So let me know your thoughts on anything that I would have mentioned in the comments below. Let me know which stocks you want me to talk about next. Look out for my interview with Ivan Anderson coming up any day now, is what I'll say. I won't tell you the day yet. If you have questions for Ivan Anderson, feel free to post it under this video or inside the community. We'll get to them, and let me know any topics that you want me to cover in the future. And of course, if you're inside the community, we'll talk. The ones in my portfolio, my portfolio looks very different than it did the start of the year. So, yeah. My wife and I are close to our retirement years, would like to join your course, need info. Daniel, just send me a message. Send me a message on IG, or reach out to me in the community, and we'll let you get started. All right. No, not necessarily, Ramin. Yeah. So you can watch this from the start, same page you're on now. So when the live stream ends, just go back to the beginning and you'll be able to see everything that you missed. All right, guys, please take a minute, like the video. Let me talk about, so this is the last chance. This is the last video I'm going to do before Saturday. So let me talk about the level 2 bootcamp for a quick minute, right? Our level 2 bootcamp is this Saturday. Guys, I'm going through the material, and I feel like I'm very excited about it. So this is what you get from the level 2 bootcamp this Saturday. You get 4 bonuses. You get the 2026 investment challenge recordings. You get the dividend challenge that we did a couple months ago. You get a portfolio group assessment. So what persons are going to do, submit their portfolios. We're going to strip out all the personal information, of course, and then we're going to review the portfolios as a group. Talk about just some of the things we'll cover in terms of portfolio concepts, portfolio theory, etc. 30-day access to the level 2 community. And of course, this is a general course outline for it. We'll go through all of it. Things like when to buy stocks, when to sell, when to take profit. A lot of investors don't understand that. Your personal portfolio strategy, all of that stuff, right? How to understand the queue, how to place orders on JTrader or JMMB Moneyline, things like circuit breaker, etc. We're going to go through all of it on Saturday. For the next 24 hours, you get 15% off. So it's $360 normally. So if you don't sign up in the next 24 hours, you'll have to pay the original price. So $306 now. If you sign up using the code August15. So I'm going to share that code in the chat, and you can sign up for those who are interested in joining us on Saturday. And it's going to be great. So I'll see you there. So Daniel, I think, Daniel, if you want to join our course for Saturday, you can, or you can join the monthly one. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. It's going to be awesome on Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. We do have a few spaces left, so you can still sign up. And I'll see you in the next video. The next video you should see me in is the interview with Ivan Anderson. So send your questions in for him. All the best to everybody in terms of this earnings season. Hopefully you have the right stocks in your portfolio. And for anything else, I'll see you in the community. All right.
Does this sound like you? You bought into that IPO they told you was a good investment, and now you're down 20, 30, maybe even 40%. You try to buy the stocks they talk about in groups or on social media.
You've even taken a chance on the ones your advisor sends you via email.
But after 2 years, that IPO, that stock is still down.
There's a clear difference between investing and making a good investment decision. So if you're stuck, what you need to do is learn how to invest the right way.
In our L.E.A.R.N Level 2 program, we teach you how to build a $1 million investment portfolio. To make money investing, you need to know which stocks are right for your investment strategy, know when is the right time to buy and sell, and know how to build the right portfolio for your investment style. This program will help you invest meaningfully while making money. When you sign up, you'll get monthly guidance on how to invest and make money while doing it. You'll have a community of investors on the same journey as you to support you, and you'll have resources to help you stay on track. Join our 2026 cohort so you can get back on track with your financial goals.